Hi guys, this is Sai Kumar Kortiwada. In this video, we will learn about register module of our JavaScript basic project. I have explained about the JavaScript project roadmap and also what are the different types of technologies we are using here and what we concentrate on the upcoming videos and the current video. So in this video, we will target only for the register module, which includes the validation and storing of the data in the local storage and validating the user whether it is existing in the local storage or not. So let me quickly jump into Visual Studio Code and I'll show you the files where we are trying to write this. So already we have everything which is dashboard, login, profile, and we will concentrate only on the register. So let me open this register.html and also register.css. So I have opened these two. Already register.css has been registered in my register.html by using a link tag. And if you see here, I'm using a JavaScript script tag which is of Bootstrap CDN and a link of Bootstrap CSS. And now what I want to do is I want to create one more file called as register.js. Register.js. This is my file and let me include this file in my HTML. So let me use a script tag and inside the script tag, let me give a src that is source pointing to my register.js and let me save this and let me use a keyword called as differ. So to learn about the differ and async of JavaScript, I have explained in our JavaScript tutorial video. Please watch that for better understanding. And now we'll write our logic inside our register.js. Before going further, so let me showcase the UX what we have designed. So this is a UX which contains a first name, last name, phone number, email address, password, confirm password, and we have some checkboxes on clicking on the create account. If everything is valid, then go and save it. Otherwise, show the error messages. So first thing is we need to validate this form. For validating this form, let me create some set of paragraphs. That paragraphs indicates the error messages. When the field is not valid, we'll show the error message inside that paragraph. For now, let me concentrate only on the paragraph which is on the first name. So let me go here to the first name. So here, let me create one paragraph and inside this paragraph, I'll use something like this field is required. So this is my message. And first we'll write the styles for this paragraph. We'll hide and show this paragraph based on our conditions and based on our validations. Let me go to the browser and here you can see this field is required. And also there is some lot of space. First let me inspect this and let me use this field is required inspection and inside this let me use a color of red and also let me use a font size of 14 pixel and also let me remove the margin bottom which is like 0 pixel and also let me go here to the computer, everything is 0. So let me copy this and go to the code and let me go to the register.css and write this class dot error class, and this error class should contain all this color and everything. So let me copy this and go to your HTML and create that class something like error and save this. Go here and let me reload. So if you see, this field is required and now the same type of paragraph I need to have for every field so that this field, whenever there is a validation which need to be shown on the UI, then we can use this paragraph. For now, let me use a static string and later we'll try to replace that string based on our validation. Let me save this. And now let me remove all these validation messages and remove this and this and save this. So first target is to have a validation on my first name. So let me use an ID called as ID is equal to first name underscore error. And when we want to validate this, we want to validate when the user clicks on the create account. So for our sake, let me use a on click event on this, and on clicking of this create account, it has to call one function, something like submit form. This is my method or a function name. Let me copy this and create that function in my register.js. Go and create a function with this name, and inside this what I want to do is first I want to get the element, which element is const first name element, and that should be equal to document dot get element by id of my id. What is the id I want to use? I want to use an id inside my html that is equal to your first name. Let me close this, go here and copy this first name, go here and paste here, so you will be getting the first name element. And now what I want to do is I want to access first name error element is equal to document dot get element id of my first name error. What is the id here? I'm using an id called as first name underscore error. So now let me save this, both of this HTML and JS. And now what I want to validate is I want to have only the required validation. Let me go inside this and create an if statement, something like first element. If the first element dot value, because it's an input field, so whenever that value equal to empty, that means nothing is entered in that, then I have to write first name error element is equal to error element dot inner html is equal to I want to have a message there, so I'll use something like first name is required. And at the same time, if something is entered in that value, and we have to clear if any error message already exists, so for that sake I'll use inner html is equal to empty, so that if there is a validation problem it will show the error, otherwise it will clean up that particular inner html if already exists. So let's check this. Let me save everything and go to the browser, go to the console and clear it off. And now I'm not entering any value here. Let me click on create account. You can see first name is required because it is not entered. Let me use Sai Kumar and let me click on create account. The validation message has been removed. So let me go here and create two more elements, which is indicating the second element. That means the last name. So if you go to the last name, we have last name, and let me create one more ID here. That is nothing but a last name underscore error. And let me save this, go here and get that last name, and let me use something like last name element, and here let me use something like last name error, and let me copy that id last name error id and pass here. So now what I want to do is I want to check the same statement, something like copy this and paste here. Let me use this as last name element, and let me use this as last name error element, and this one should be changed to last name is required. Now this is something like last name error element. It is same. Why? Because we are only validating for the required validation. So we'll check it a bit later. Let me go to the register and create one more thing, something like a phone number. So let me add id equal to phone number underscore error, and also save this, go to the register.js and create two more fields now. So something like phone element and also phone error element. Then I'll use get element by id, and the id should be something like phone number. Copy this and paste here. This is something like phone number error. So save. Now we have something called as a phone element, and now let me validate that. Let me copy the same, and now the phone element dot value, and this is something like phone error element dot inner html, phone error element dot inner html, and let me make this as phone number is required, and let me save this. And we'll validate regarding the phone number a bit later. For now we are focusing only on the required validation. So let me go to the register and now create one more id which is regarding the email and underscore error. So let me copy this email address, paste here underscore error, so that that will be in a sequence pattern. So let me go here and create element again. Now this time it is email element, and this is email error element. And now let me pass the ID, email address, copy this and pass here, email error, copy this and pass here. So let me validate this. Let me copy this snippet and paste here. This is something like email element dot value, email error element dot inner HTML, and email error element dot inner HTML as empty. So here we are using email is required, and save this. Let me go to the register.html, and now we need to have a password. So copy this password, id is equal to password underscore error, and now go to the JS file, create two more elements, copy this and paste here. This time this will be something like password element. So I can remove this and write password element, and here also something like password error element. Now these IDs need to be changed respectively. So let me copy this password and paste here, and also go here, password error, copy this and paste here. So now let me go here, copy this, paste here. So you have something called as password element dot value, password error element dot value, and password error element dot inner HTML. Let me save this and save this. Now the second case is confirm password. So let me go here and copy the same, create one more. Now let me use something like confirm password element, and then I'll make this as confirm password error element. Go and copy this ID, copy this and paste here, and same thing, let me create one more ID here with confirm password underscore error and save this. So copy this again, go here, paste here, save this. Now we got confirm password element, and copy this, paste here. Now confirm password element and confirm password element dot inner HTML, and let me save this. Now change it to password is required and change it to confirm password is required. Let me save this. Okay, now it's cool. We have created all the required validations. Let me go and check in the browser. Go here, let me reload and click on this. Everything you are seeing that password and confirm password. So one change is required. This is something like password and confirm password, because it should not be password error element, it should be confirm password error element. Let me reload again and click here. You are able to see all the required validations now. And if you enter all these values, you will not get any problem. So if you go and hit create account, now these two are valid but these are not valid. Let me give some number 12345678890 and give sai@gmail.com and give password 1234567 and go here 1234567. Let me click create account. All are valid. Let's check this. It is not showing valid. Why? Because if you see here, we have to use confirm a password error element dot inner HTML to be empty. Why? Because already the value exists. If it is valid, we have to remove. It's our responsibility to remove that particular error element. Let me reload this and check now. Sai Kumar and SKK 123456789 and sai@gmail.com and give 1234567 password, 1234567 password, and click on create account. All the validations has been cleared, and now we can process forward. But before going further, we have some more validations. The first validation is the phone number. Phone number should accept only 10 digits. And one more thing is email pattern. So we are not having an email pattern if we are not giving any email pattern, even though we are not getting any error message. So that is the second validations. Let's complete that. So let me target for the phone number now and go to the code, and where is our phone number? Here is our phone number. So if the value is empty, for sure we need to get the required validation. Else, if the value already exists, then it will come here. So what I can do is phone number element dot value dot length, length. If this length is less than 10, that means if the length is less than 10, then I have to use this inner HTML, but this time phone number is not in required state, phone number is invalid. So we have to give 10 characters minimum, and or you can give more precise, phone number should contain 10 digits. And if this is wrong, then it has to go and clear the content. So save this. This is one validation. Let's see this validation. Let me go here, reload, and let me give 1, 2, 3, 4. I give only 4 digits. Let me click on create account. Phone number digits should contain minimum of 10 digits. Let me give 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 0, 9, 0. That means you have 10 digits. Let me click on this. It has been empty. That means this field is now valid. And let me backspace and hit. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Already it is 10. And also if you give extra, so even it is validating. So that means exactly it should be equal to 10. Now let's validate that. If it is not equal to 10, then we have to show this. Go here and reload. Let me give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0 and click this. It's valid. If I decrease the count, it is not valid. If I increase the count, even it is not valid. So this is how phone number is validated successfully. Now the second case is email validation. For this email validation, we can use regex pattern. So let me show you how we will be validating it. So for that regex pattern, already I have a regex pattern. This is my regex pattern. Let me use this regex pattern whenever we are working with email address. If the email address is entered, then we have to check whether that email is valid or not. Let me use const regex is equal to new. There is a method called as a regular expression and pass our regular expression to this. So pass this to the regular expression and now we can validate it. If my regular expression dot test of, we need to pass the string. What is my string? The string is email element dot value. I'll pass this value. If it passes the test of that pattern, then no problem. If it does not pass, that means not condition, then we will be getting an error. What should be the error? The same thing, but the error message should be something like email is not valid. So let me use else here, and inside this let me pass this inner HTML and save this. Go to the browser and now we'll concentrate on checking the email address. Let me reload and give sai@gmail and hit enter. So you got email is not valid. And for example, if I give sai@gmail.com and hit this, you got a valid email. And let me remove this and hit this, you got email is required. That means email required validation is done. Even email pattern validation is also done. Now we'll go with the password. Here my condition for the password is password should always be greater than 5 characters and less than 8 characters. So that is what I'm expecting in the password. So it's a very simple password. You can enter alphanumeric, whatever you want, but it should have only the characters between 5 to 8. So let me go here and validate that password. So how we will validate this password? If my password element dot value dot length is less than 5, or password element dot value dot length, if it is greater than 8, then we have to show that password dot inner HTML should be having a message something like password should be between 5 to 8 characters. So let me save this and also write else condition. If this is not there, then my inner HTML should be empty. Save this. Go here and reload. Let me concentrate only on the password. I'm giving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Create, nothing happened. Let me remove this. 5, nothing happened. If I give 4, hit this, you got password should be between 5 to 8 characters, 6, 7, 8, and hit this, nothing happened. Why? Because it is of 8 characters. And when I click on 9 and hit create password, so we are getting password should be between 5 to 9. And let me remove this, hit this, properly working, and let me remove this and hit this. Password is required. So required validation is done. Minimum 5 to 8 characters password checking is also done. Now we'll go with the confirm password. So for confirm password, no need to check any of the number of characters. Why? Because confirm password should always be equal to password. If password is valid, then confirm password should also valid. So let me go here, and my validation would be something like if confirm password element dot value is not equal to password element dot value, then I can go with a error message. Just copy this, paste here, and now confirm password should be equal to your password value, and save this and write else condition. Now let me copy this and paste here, save this. So let me go here and reload. So now let me use Sai Kumar SKK. Click here. You got phone number is required 12345678990, valid. Let me click on create account. It's valid, and email address sai@gmail.com. So let me click this, valid, and let me go with 1 2 3 4 5 6, and let me give only three characters 1 2 3, which is not valid. Let me click on this. Confirm password should be equal to your password value. Let me give 4 5 6 7 and hit this, the same error message, but when both are equal it will not show any error message. So that is what the confirm password and password validations. So let me go back, and also one thing we need to remember is these are something like a passwords. As of now I kept them as a text. Why? Because we need to know what we are entering in that fields. So let me go here, go to the register.html and convert them into passwords, so that it will be very clear for us, so that the password will never be exposed whenever we are typing. Let me go here and reload. When I type something, it will be showing in the star format. Till here the validation is properly working fine. Now the second thing is, this is an optional case. If he want to click this, he will click this, otherwise he will not enter anything. And this I agree should be mandatory field. For that sake, let me go here, copy this paragraph, and then go to the I agree field. So this is my agree field. After this, I'm pasting this paragraph with some random content. So let me write I agree error, something like this. Let me save this, go here and reload. Now here it will be showing the error message. Now what I want to validate, I want to validate this particular checkbox. For that sake, let me create an ID for this input field, that is nothing but a receive emails. So already we have the ID. Let me pass this here underscore error. So I have created an error ID. Now what I want to do is I will be getting this particular field, copy this and paste here. Now receive emails, copy this and paste here, and go here, receive emails error, copy this and paste here. Now we'll be getting a I agree element, and let me use this I agree element, remove this confirm password and pass this. But if you see, the IDs are same here and here. Let me change the ID. My ID name is I agree, and here my ID name is I agree error. It should be I agree. So here the ID is I agree. Let me copy this I agree and pass here, and also the same pattern follows for this I agree error. Save this. And now let me validate this. For validating this, we need to check whether the checkbox is checked or not. For that sake, go here and create one if condition. What is that if condition means? That if condition should contain this I agree element if it is checked or not. We have to check whether it is checked or not. This checked property will return you true or false. If it is false, that means if it is not checked, then I have to show the error message. So what should be my error message? I agree error element dot inner HTML is equal to please check this for registering, and else condition is something like I agree error element dot inner HTML, that should be empty. And let me save this, go here and reload. Now when I click this, even you can see please check this for registering, because if you don't check that particular field, I just don't want to register that values. This is how we can create our validations for our register page. Hope till here we are good to go. So now go here. If one of the field is not valid, I should not save the data. So that is the next target we are targeting. So now for that sake, we need to have one error count. Let me create one error count, something like error count is equal to 0. And whenever there is an error happening, I'll try to increase this limit or increase the value of the error count. So here there will be an error, and copy this, go here and paste, and here we are getting an error, here we are getting an error, and here also we are getting an error, and here, and also here, and then here, okay, and here, and also here. When the I agree is not checked, then also you'll be getting an error. Our consideration is something like, if my error count is greater than 0, so that fellow should not be saved or it should not be registered. So let me use a console.log of error count and save this. Now let me go here, reload, and now inspect this and extract this, go to the console and enter some value, sai skk, and give 123456789 and let me give the email sai@gmail.com. Let me give password 123456 and 123456, and let me click on create account. Now I agree was not checked, so my error count should be 1. Let me click this and you can see the error count as 1. Let me clear this off and let me remove that email address and try to click create account. Now the error count is 2. Why? Because 1 and 2. And if I remove this confirm password, then click on this, the error count is 3. Now let me clear this and enter some random number 1234 and click create account. Now the error count is also 3, 1, 2 and 3. Let me give the same password 123456 and create account. The error count is 2. Let me fill this sai@gmail.com and I agree, create account. So now it is 0. That means when the error count is equal to 0, then I have to save my form. Let me go to the Visual Studio Code and let me create one condition. That means if my error count is equal to 0, then I have to go further. That means I have to go and save my data. Before saving my data, let me frame my data. Const user details is equal to, I'm framing my data something like first name, and let me frame this value by using our first name element dot value. And also next thing is last name. Whatever the fields we want to save in our local storage or an API, then that type of objects will be framing here. So last name element dot value, and also that there is something like a phone number. So let me use phone number and use phone element dot value, comma, there is something like an email element dot value, comma, password. So if everything is valid, then only it will come here, so no need to save any confirm password. So just save the password value. So password element dot value, and also whether he want to receive this emails further or not, just it's a dummy checkbox. So for this sake, we'll get the element value. So where I can get is after everything is confirmed, then I can get that is receive, or let me go with the HTML and go here receive emails, copy this and paste here, suffixed with element just for our understanding, document dot get element by ID of, I'll pass the ID. We are not validating this. That is the reason I'm writing once every validation is successfully done, I'm trying to get the element until unless that element doesn't have any value for it. So let me go here and pass this receive emails element. Let me go here and write receive emails, and then let me use receive email elements dot checked, because we need its true or false value. Let me save this. Now we have framed our object, and after this I want to save this whole logic or whole user details in my local storage. For that sake, I'm creating one more function. Why? Because already this function became very big. So for that sake, what I'm doing is I'm creating one more function, something like save user, and this is my new function which will receive user details. So these are my user details, and once I receive the user details, I'll be posting these user details into my local storage. For that sake, let me call save user when all are valid, whole user object is framed. I'm trying to call this user, that is save user. So for this sake, let me get the value from the local storage for the initial time. So const users is equal to local storage dot get item of, let me pass a key called as users, and this may or may not exist, and if it does not exist, it always returns null. If it exists, it will return some string format. This string format may contain an array of objects or array of users. So now I'll use a ternary operator here. If my local storage contains these users, then what I'll do is I'll try to parse this local storage dot get item of users. Why? Because whenever the users exist, get that users and give it to me in an object. That may be an array, that may be a plain object. For now, we will be treating this particular storage value as array. So I'm trying to parse this and I'll be getting an array. If there is no users, that means if for the first time we will not have any users. So whenever there is no users, I need to get an empty array. So let me save this. Now you will be getting any users, and this is the first time we are executing in our application. So that is the reason users will be empty. Now our condition is if my users dot length is equal to 0. That means no one is there. Then I have to create that user in my local storage. So how we can do that? I can do something like users dot push, because already the users will be empty or existing users, but this block will be executed only when the user's length is 0. That means no user existed. So whenever there is no user, I can just push my object into this. So let me use user details and save this. Local storage dot set item. So set item is a method which will receive two parameters. One parameters is your key. Let me use that key as users. And now let's pass our object or an array to our local storage. Where whenever we are passing an array or an object, we have to stringify it. Why? Because local storage accepts only strings but not the objects. Let me use json dot stringify of, I need to pass my user details. Let me pass my user details and save this. Now whenever the user is created for the first time, he will directly go into the local storage and he will be setting the user's object with an array format. Let me reload and enter everything. Let me give 123456789 and sai@gmail.com and give some password sai at 123, sai at 123, and I am selecting this and I am selecting I agree. Click on create account. Now what's happening here? It is created, but this time if you see, it is creating only an object, not an array format. Why? Let's check that. So here I'm using this user details. Actually speaking, we should not use user details because it will store only one user. Now I'll use users. So let me use users where we are storing our whole array of users. Let me go here, clear it off and reload. So enter the values and give 123456789 and give sai@gmail.com and 1234567 1234567 and select both of this, create account. Now the user has been created with the John, and email is this one, and receive emails I have selected, so that is showing true. Once this is created, what we have to do is we have to clear all our fields. So we will do a bit later. Now what I want to do is, for suppose one more user want to register here. So let me show you that. We have the same type of details, just I am updating with 123, and let me remove this and Kumar. Let me update something like this with the same email and click on create account. So let me refresh this. If you see, no user has been created. Why? We are writing one condition, something like if it is empty, then go and push it. If it is not empty, then what we should do? Actually speaking, if it is not empty, the user already exists in that. So if the users already exist, we have to check whether the entered email address already exists in my local storage or not. So that is our responsibility to check to avoid the duplicates registration. So here I am considering email as uniqueness. So that is the reason I'll check whether this email, the entered email already exists in our users list or not. Let me go here and now let me create one index is equal to users already existing users dot I'll try to use find index. There is a method called as find index which will receive object, that means each and every object. Inside that each and every object I'll check whether that email is equivalent to the value which I have entered. That means the email which we have entered, which we can get it from user details dot email. If both are equal, that means already if the user exists with the same email address, I'll be getting some index. If my index is not equal to -1, because find index will return you -1 if there is no match found. So this is something like no duplicate. But if we go to the else case, there we are finding our duplicate users. So how can I solve this duplicate users problem? So now what I'll do is into the HTML and create one error message here somewhere under the register. So let me go here and create one paragraph. This time I'll use a class error class, but this is used only for the duplicate purpose. Duplicate error. So I will be getting this duplicate error only whenever I come to the save users. So come here, const duplicate error is equal to document dot get element by id of, I'll pass this duplicate error id. So whenever there is a duplicate error happening, that means in the else case, whenever I'm having a duplicate error dot inner html, then I'll pass already user exist with the email, with this email. So this is my error message. And once it is saved either here or in the next phase, then I can use something like duplicate error dot inner html is equal to empty. And even when there is no duplicate, that previous duplicate error has to be removed. And for that sake, I'm writing inner html is equal to empty. Save this. Now duplicate error we are showing as empty. Whenever there is no duplicate found, then what I should do? Whenever there is no duplicate found, just push that current object into users object and we can store that local storage value. Let me copy this and paste here. So now it works the same way. Just pushing the object and then setting up in our local storage. Let me save this and go here and reload. Create one account. Already the account is created on sai@gmail.com. Let me give that same email, Sai Kumar, duplicate, and go here 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. I don't bother about the phone number, I don't bother about the password, but I bother about the email address, sai@gmail.com. Password is something like 909090 and 909090. Let me click on this and this. Let me click on create account. If you see, my account has been created. So why it has been created, let's check that. So now here, so it should be equal to -1. Whenever it is equal to -1, that means no user exists. Then only you have to go and save that in your local storage. Let me go here and go to the application. Let me clear everything. And now let me click on reload. And then let me give Sai Kumar SKK and give the phone number 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0, and let me give sai@gmail.com and then enter the password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0, and let me give the password in another format, sai@123, sai@123. Let me select I agree and this one create account. So the account has been created successfully. Now after doing this, what I will do is I'll try to click it again. So if you see here, already user exists with this email and you are not getting any updated or new record here. Let me reload this. Even you are having only 0, that means only one record. Let me change this to 1 2 3 and click on create account. New account has been created here. So in this way we are able to create our new account. And once the new account is created, what I want to show, once the account is created, I want to clear whole form. So for that sake, what I'll do is just I'll go to the register, and then I'll try to create one more button here, something like type reset, and then I'll try to use nothing. I'll not give anything, and I'll make this as with a style display none. That means it will be existing but it will not be showcased. Let me give an id is equal to some clear. Save this, and I'll write one method that is nothing but function clear form. And now inside this clear form, what I'll do is I'll clear all the values once it is saved. So for that sake, const clear element is equal to document dot get element by id of, let me pass the id here, copy this clear id and pass here semicolon, and clear element dot, I want to make it as a click, dynamic click. So whenever I'm clicking it dynamically, it will invoke all these, and as I am using reset inside our form, all the form fields will be resetted. I am not calling that method. So let me call this method on every save. So let me call here and also here and save this. Go here, reload, enter some values 0987654321, and also give the email sai909@gmail.com, sai@123, sai@123, and I agree. Yes, create. So once the creation is done, that has been created and all the form related stuff has been gone. Instead of clearing each and every value, what I'm doing is I'm trying to create a hidden element, and by using that hidden element I'm trying to clear the form. And also this has to be done after showing some alert message. The best way is to showcase the same thing here. Where we can showcase is just, I'll try to create one more paragraph that is nothing but a success, and this one I'll use success, and let me write some random content here, successful, so that I can use this and create our styling. So successful, let me inspect this and write color as green, font size as 14 pixel, and then that's it. So let me go here and copy this, create in our CSS class. Let me go here dot success and then color as green, copy this and go here, and already we have that class, and also add the margin bottom as we are using a paragraph. So this successful message I'll pass wherever I require. So what I'll do is I'll try to get the element, copy this and get the element success element, and then pass that success element id to our get element by id. Here the class and the id are same, so whatever you copy that will not give any problem. Once it is successfully registered, then I can use success element dot inner html is equal to successfully registered and semicolon. Let me copy the same and paste here, save this, go here and reload. If I enter some new values, let me give John Smith and 8989898989 and give John Smith @gmail.com and give the password as John @123 and John @123, and select this one and this one. Go to the console, clear it off and go to the application. This John is not already existing. Let me click on create account and you can see successfully registered. Till here it's absolutely fine. Once the user is successfully registered and showcasing this message, I want to just move that user to the other page, that is login page. So how can I do that? Go to the register.html and we have something like already registered. So what is that? Already have an account. So when the user clicks on login button or this particular text, then I have to move for the other page. For that sake, I can use on click login method, and let me create this function inside my register. So function login, and then what I want to do, I want to log in. I want to move this user to the login page. So for that sake, I can use location or location dot assign of URL. The URL is relative path. Let me give the relative path here, dot slash dot slash. Why? Because I need to go into the login folder, and then I have to give login.html, login.html, and save this, go to the browser, reload, and when the user clicks on login, it will navigate to the login page, but it has been failed. Why? Because it is inside the login slash login.html. So if you go here, it is not login HTML, it is login slash login HTML. Let me go here, click on back button. When I click on login, it is going to the login page. And in the same way, when the user is registered successfully, we need to show the message for a second, and then I have to move out of it. So let me use set timeout for 2 seconds, and after the 2 seconds, I'll navigate the user to the login page. So let me give the 2 seconds gap so that the user can see this message, and then he will be navigating to the login page. And in the same way, let me copy the set timeout. Even here, whenever the user is registered successfully, we have to navigate the user to the login page. Let's check this as a last use case. Let me reload this and enter John Kumar and give phone number 123456780, and give the email as johnkumar@gmail.com, and give the password 898989 and select this, click on the create account. Now the create account is successful, and after 2 seconds it navigated to the login page. So that is how we have created our register page. So go back, and now the register page has everything for covering all the use cases, that is validation, storing the users, and checking the duplicates, and also navigating to the login page. So this is how we have created our register page. And also please watch this for other modules so that you will be getting more exposure on JavaScript and how to use it. And in the last, we'll try to minify all these coding standards, and we'll write in a proper way so that we'll not duplicate the code n number of times. And in the upcoming video, we will learn about login and how to log in the user into a login page, and how to validate the login fields. And also we'll talk about when the user clicks on login, if the email and password does not match, how it should reflect, and if they match, where it should go, and how it should navigate from one place to another place. We'll see all the stuff in the next login module. Hope this is good for this video. If you have any questions, if you have any doubts, you can comment in the comment box. I'm ready to help you out. When you like my explanation, if you like my video, like, share, subscribe to my channel for more updates. Stay tuned. Thank you.